Hey everyone, I'm Renee from iMore, and right now we are talking to Todd Thomas about Tweetbot for Mac. Now we all know Tweetbot for iPhone and iPad, made by the legendary duo at Tapbots, Paul Haddad and Mark Jardine. But for the Mac version, they have brought on a third developer, and that is Todd Thomas. How are you, Todd?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So I guess the best way to start is just asking you, why is there a Tweetbot on the Mac? Was it just a no-brainer given the popularity of Tweetbot on iOS, or was it something that you and Paul and Mark and the Tapbots crew kind of debated for a while?
Well, I don't think I was part of the debate. I know in the beginning, quite a few of their customers were constantly like, please make a Mac app, please, please, please. And I think really Paul got tired of hearing or getting emails or on Twitter, people just constantly asking. And before that, I'd wanted to write my own Twitter app. And then when they started, before it had actually been released, I said, if you guys ever decide that you want to make a Mac version, I'd be interested.
So was it really people asking, or were they already at the torches and pitchforks stage before you decided to go ahead with it?
I think it had gotten to the point of annoying for Paul, like there was enough people asking. But no, I think even when we started on the app, that it kind of built more and more, as it, so a few months in, you'd see like still more and more people. It's like, oh, come on, please. I'd love it on my Mac. I'd love a version. Please port it. So I think it just increased.
Now, you did a very public alpha release for Tweetbot for Mac, and that's not usually how things are done. Usually developers prefer to, take their time, work on the product, and then get it to a small closed beta first, and then, gradually expand. I'm guessing Twitter and their new API policies kind of forced your hand a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, actually it was Paul who he kind of thought that something was going to happen and he wasn't sure what. And, he didn't want to be closed out. Like suddenly if they closed off all third-party developers except for everyone who'd already, shipped an app or anything, like we didn't want to, have invested all that time just to have them say, no more third-party clients. So yeah, it was actually Paul who said, I think really we should get it out there. And then just in case, then, people have used it and it'll be harder to just say, too bad,
You'll have your flag on top of the mountain and it'll be hard to dislodge you.
Yeah, exactly. And it did turn out to be a good thing anyway for, feedback and related to tokens.
So I'm guessing that you used Tweetbot when it was on iOS. Given that background, what's it like using it on Mac now? Is it a different experience for you, or is it something that mapped fairly one-to-one?
No, I mean, it definitely mapped fairly well. It's funny, there's a lot of iterations of the app that, of course, nobody will ever see, where I had, like the little drawer, the same as iOS. There was a lot of similarities, and where then just Mark said, no, that doesn't work for the Mac. Let's go this way. We try this, try that, try 6 different things. Be like, yeah, that works. That's good.
Was there anything that surprised you? Anything that worked better than you thought? Like anything that you think maybe works better on Mac than it did on iOS?
I mean, I guess really the only thing, just having extra space if you want it. Yeah. I mean, I definitely like, especially having a whole bunch of columns open all at once, and being able to follow a whole bunch of things. Where on the phone or iPad, that would definitely be a pain, flipping back and forth between this and then back to the timeline and back to mentions. At least, so definitely makes better use of the available desk space.
Yeah, it gets addictive quickly. There's something about when you're at your desk using it on the Mac, it just feels so fast and so natural, especially when you're moving between multiple columns, like you said, or even multiple accounts. There's just a speed of entry, I think, that's still the advantage of the truck versus the car.
Oh yeah, definitely. Typing things really quickly and responding. I mean, I can just flip through, mentions or people talking about Tweetbots, like click, reply, done, yeah. Reply, done, paste picture in, done. Yeah, no, it's definitely. And then, of course, lots of people are mobile, but there's also lots of people like me who sit in front of their computers all day long. And it's just yeah, it's definitely more convenient.
You mentioned the app drawer. Was Mark's process, did you have to adapt a lot? You have a lot of gestures on the iOS client. You can just swipe one way to get conversations, the other way to get details. And putting a finger on the screen is a very direct experience, but you're dealing with people who have mice or trackpads or magic trackpads, magic mice. Did you have to adjust a little bit for that sort of intermediated touch or control experience?
No, I don't know. We did the gestures and it seemed pretty natural, though I don't think it's quite the, if you don't have a touch, a trackpad or a magic mouse, I think the experience is probably, a little less because you can't really just, I don't think you can flick across the scroll wheel and it'll actually behave the same way.
Yeah, you're stuck to tapping. You don't get any swiping.
Yeah.
Did Mark have to do any other? I know you mentioned their drawer already. Were there any other major visual things that were involved in bringing the? Because Tapbots has a really distinctive look throughout their iOS app history. This is the first time that look has been brought to the Mac. Was that a challenging process?
There was lots of. I mean, the timeline changed a bunch of times. One time I accidentally broke it and all the gradients went away. And he said, actually, I kind of like it the way it is. Maybe leave it. And it actually ended up staying that way.
Oh, serendipitous. I guess the last question is about pricing. The Mac version is priced substantially higher than the iOS version. Is that a recognition just of the Mac as a completely different market? Or does that also reflect the fact that Twitter has now restricted the amount of user tokens you have? So you have really a very small market that you can address compared to the wide open market of a general Mac app.
Oh, no. Oh, definitely. Twitter's, them changing the rules and limiting our lifetime of tokens definitely pushed the price considerably higher just because otherwise I'm not sure it would have been viable to continue.
It's crazy because they made tokens a finite commodity. They've become something precious. I have this image in my mind of people like lining up for them like loaves of bread or trying to smuggle them across the border.
Luckily, you don't need to be on Twitter to live.
Yeah. Well, and as you mentioned previously, there might eventually be a NetBot alternative, which will be footloose and token-free.
Right.
All right. Well, Todd, thank you very much for talking with me, and congratulations on Tweetbot for Mac. It should be hitting the Mac App Store roundabout now, and it is absolutely one of the best Mac apps we've seen to date.
Oh, thanks very much.
Where can we find out more about you?
Yeah, probably just Twitter, Todd Thomas.
All right. Thank you very much, Todd. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.